Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? Here. Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Here.
Trustee Zuber? Here.
Okay, item number 2, I'll accept the motion to approve the contract between Village of Sauk Village and Dr. Alicia Strada for the position of Human Resource Consultant, beginning May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2021 at an hourly rate of $85 per hour, along with all the terms and conditions contained in the consultant's contract.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
Second.
The people of the village would like to talk to you before this vote.
Public
Mr.
comment,
Mayor,
ma'am.
we're asking for public
Public
comment
comment is at the
before
end.
you call for the vote.
Public comment is at the end,
I
ma'am.
understand
Okay.
that, but we, the people of
Public
this village,
comment
would
is
like
at-
to talk to the trustees
The
before the
public
vote.
comment, ma'am, is at the end of the agenda.
I would like to read this before
Pardon
the
me?
vote. I
Ma'am,
need to read this to the trustees
Public comment, ma'am, is at the end.
vote.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Please call the roll.
Do you realize that you are being very
There's a motion on the floor.
vindictive to the residents of this village?
Pardon me? Ma'am, I've asked you twice. and-
I understand, and I've
Okay.
asked you twice. We would like to talk to the trustees before you make this horrendous mistake
That's
for
what
our
you may
village.
feel, ma'am, but like I stated the third time, public comment is at the end.
Would anybody
Would you
else like to
please,
have a public
please call the roll.
before, like we normally do?
Would you please call the roll?
No, we have a motion on the floor. We have a motion, we have a motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor.
Right. And is there any questions or comments?
Okay, I'm trying to. Are there any questions?
I have a comment. Since becoming a trustee 2 years ago, the subject of contracts has never come up. Now, Mr. Mayor, since the recent election did not go your way, you now feel the need to get contracts passed ASAP. This board has not had the opportunity to review these contracts thoroughly, as our executive session was very chaotic on Tuesday. It is our duty as elected officials to represent and protect our residents, the taxpayers, and the village. It is not our duty to represent and protect the mayor and his friends. At Tuesday night's meeting, we were advised by our interim finance director that for the last 2 years, we have been $2 million in the hole. The passing of these contracts would cost the village and the residents hundreds of thousands of dollars if the contracts, for any reason, are broken. Where will the village get the money? There goes the $808,000 that has been put in reserve. We as a board need to show our alliance to the residents, and the residents have spoken. Passing of these contracts would be detrimental to our residents and the village. Remember, trustees, you are also taxpayers. And if you vote for these contracts, shame on you. And that ends my comment.
Mr. Mayor, this past Tuesday, the mayor presented four contracts. I'm sorry. This past Tuesday, the mayor presented. Okay. Right? Can you hear me now? Okay. This past Tuesday, the mayor presented 4 contracts in executive session. The clerk notified the mayor and trustees that we were in violation of the Open Meetings Act relating to contracts listed on the agenda. Even though the clerk advised trustee and the mayor of the Open Meetings Act The mayor insisted that the trustees review the contracts so that they could vote on them later. However, during the session, all chaos broke loose, and the police chief had to come in and calm the situation down. The situation became hostile. Trustees could not read or ask any questions about the contracts. This session was canceled. Today, the contract is being presented to us again without us reviewing the contents of the contract. We, as trustees, are not in agreement with that. In addition, we have not been given the opportunity to look at any additional data that was provided to support these contracts. We have no idea what we need for this. This is a clear violation of the Open Meeting Act and a clear violation of several Illinois state statutes. Mr. Mayor, you are attempting to grandfather in salary increases and severance pay for employees' positions that have never been brought before the board and never have been approved by the Board of Trustees. These actions are clear violation of, Illinois state statute. If you pursue this avenue, I have no other choice but to contact the state's attorney for blatant disregard of your authority. On what basis are you coming up with a formula for these severance pay? When did Dr. Straughter or consultants present a contract for these particular areas? If so, the contracts that the consultant gave us, when was it reviewed by the attorney? It was never brought before us, and therefore we cannot make an informed decision on it. Since then, we have been provided these consultant packages, which I want to emphasize again, we have never reviewed them. We have no idea what's in them. You cannot make an informed decision on anything if you don't have the information. So with that being said, included, I want to say, and this is a real kicker, that the HR person drafted the manual, which has severance pay in it. Don't you think that's a little strange? So with all that being said, this is a legal way that the mayor is trying to push this down there, that I do believe we're in violation of Open Meetings Act, but, you know, and that's the end of my comment. This is illegal and just wrong.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to make a comment too. Yeah, so listen or don't listen, take your pick, but for those who care to listen, I'm one of the ones who did not have the opportunity to fully read them the other night because of the concerns that we had back there. So I came in yesterday and read them. I asked the mayor if I could come in and do so, and I did that, as I would have hoped all 6 of us would have done. For those of you in the audience, somebody the other night said what these are. They're poison pills, right? They're not going to get executed unless the upcoming board goes and decides to fire these 4 people without cause. These contracts can be terminated by mutual agreement, permanent disability, discharge for cause. So if one of these 4 people are going off the rail and not doing their jobs and can be documented and fired, that's okay, or by death. But if the board just happens to decide, I don't like one of these 4 people and want to terminate them for no cause, then and only then does this kick in. And these are not exorbitant dollar amounts. Think what you want. These are their salaries. They are less in some cases than some other folks who were here previously. So don't think they're crazy dollar amounts. And they're not going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't execute them. If you leave these 4 people in place who, FYI, 3 of the 4 are not buddies with the mayor, they're going to do their jobs every day. I am not lying. That ends my comments.
Mr. Mayor, I want to respond to Ms. Zupont's. Ms. Zupont indicated that she reviewed these contracts, but however, on the first line in the agenda, it says that she's going to get paid $85 an hour. That is my understanding. That's what she gets for paying union negotiations. So how much is she really getting paid an hour? And also, where's the copy of her consultant's contract? Where's all that? We need to review that stuff. What are we paying for? How many hours are we going to be paid for? That's election. I don't understand.
Any other questions?
I'll respond.
You have a question? Okay.
No, I have a comment. So first, I just want to address Trustee Todd. So you said we were $2 million in the hole the last 2 years. That's not true.
I just talked to
We
with
just
Finch.
talked to him.
Trust. Let me finish,
We
please.
can all talk together.
So he made that comment. He said before this administration got in, we were $2 million in the hole. Go back and check the tape. We are not $2 million in the hole in the last 2 years. Okay? First comment. Second comment, the part about this Dr. Strata contract here, please. Dr. Strata's contract here, she makes $85 an hour. That's what she gets paid for, whether she has negotiations or HR, either or. So there is no separate HR contract or separate negotiations contract. It's all in one. She gets, can I finish? She gets 24 hours currently for HR services. She gets 10 hours currently for union negotiations. So therefore, combined, this is what this is. So $85 an hour is what she makes. The 17.45 was the hours she was making when we had Judith here still doing the finance director's job. So therefore, that kind of explains that. Let me know if you need some more clarification, but that pretty much is the $85 an hour and the hours for her services that she currently is doing right now.
Now, Trustee Grant, I was in here yesterday, and yes, I reviewed the tape, and I talked to Mr. Finch. I said, what you said on that tape, is that correct? He said, yes, we're $2 million in the hole.
Okay.
So he's obviously...
Can we go get him? Because I do not believe that. Can we go get him?
And
you want me to go get him?
And we, because I came in and asked him, and I listened to the tape. But let me just say this, I've got another comment.
Okay, go ahead.
And to you, Trustee Zupan, yes, we could have come in and reviewed these, but in an executive session, what should have been done is we all reviewed them, and if we had questions, we talked as a board. Coming in here yesterday, or whatever dates, coming in and review them, now how are we going to talk about it as a board? So that's what I just want to say there. But I came in and talked to Mr. Finch yesterday, and I reviewed the tape, and I said, you were saying that we were $2 million in the hole for the last 2 years. He said, that is correct. So I'm just telling you what he told me.
I believe it. Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Well, I don't know who indicated, but have you seen the consultant contract that's supposed to be included in this motion?
No,
have you actually reviewed it?
So no, there's no consulting contract. So what this is, this right here,
It says contains in the consulting contract. Do we have a copy of that?
what
What is that?
No, this is, so Dr. Strata is a consultant for Sauk Village.
So where's the contract?
This is it.
This is a call to order.
No, that's an agenda.
You talking about this?
Yeah, this is the contract. So
I'm talking about, she said the petitions came in the consultant's contract. Where's the consultant's contract? This is ours. Where's the consultant's contract?
No. So this is it. So this is the consultant's contract. This is like her agreement. Then we have one for Shanice, and then we have one for Joe, and then we have another one, the last one for Cynthia. So
Okay.
all four of these contracts.
Okay, it's my impression they don't exist. Secondly, I'd like to ask, when did we get an ordinance or resolution, whatever, for the AP payroll administrator? When was that drafted?
So,
when was that drafted?
So that position has always been here. So
I don't know what position. That's what I'm asking you.
Wait,
I have never heard of.
So Mike Bartnicki, who used to do payroll, it's the same position. So when he retired, somebody had to do that job.
So we actually have a resolution that says AP payroll administrator.
What resolution? So she has a job description and a title. That's her title.
Okay,
So
and it's been approved by the board.
I'm sorry, trustees, and I appreciate your conversation and dialogue, but currently, the motion on the floor is for the first one, and that is for the consultant, Dr. Alicia Strata.
What happened to the 17 hours?
Can
Do you
I?
understand what I'm saying? So
It'll go back to that when we get a finance director in place.
see position when you come, when that comes to vote.
Okay.
Well, then let's go back to the first one.
Okay.
Where is it specified that she's supposed to get 24 hours with 10 hours of union negotiation? Where is that?
So, okay. So the 24 hours and the 10. So 24 for negotiations. I'm sorry. 24 for human resources. the 10 for negotiations. So there's a total in here that says she's getting paid for 35 hours, right? The 17.45 hours is what she used to do before she took over before Judith left. I mean, after Judith left, before Judith left. So therefore, when we do hire a finance director and Mr. Finch is no longer here anymore, if that's the case and we decide that we don't want her working for the village anymore, this goes down to those hours because technically she won't be doing that duty anymore, right? You get what I'm saying?
And this is specified in the contract that you're trying to push through, right?
It's in her regular statement of work.
Okay. Now her statement of work identifies 24 hours and not the 17.5. When was that changed?
So the 17.45 was what we agreed to.
No. Okay, go on.
Okay. So then when Judith left, we the mayor asked if we can do 24 hours because she will be helping out with some of those responsibilities that Judith had. So we changed that 2-3 months ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
It was approved by the board 2 or 3 months ago?
We met in the
I know we discussed it. I said, was it approved by the board whenever it was done?
I believe in executive session, we had a consensus that this would be, we agreed to her 24 hours.
Anytime you approve...
All six of us.
Anytime you approve finance, you have to do it out in public. You can't do a consensus back there and get us to approve it. I mean,
you were there.
I was there, and I know it didn't happen. That's what I'm saying.
You know what didn't happen? That you agreed to it?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You didn't agree to it.
No, I didn't agree to it.
Well, we had a consensus.
And we'll not agree to that.
No, we had a consensus in executive session. That's what happened. All six of us were there. Ask Trustee Todd.
So even if we had consensus on there, when was it brought to the Board of Trustees and voted on in public? And when did we rate? You said we did it 2 or 3 months ago. Where's the paperwork?
The paperwork that says 24 hours?
Right, yeah.
I'm sure we have a copy. I'm sure there's a copy.
Well, don't you think we should have that before we make decisions?
But, I mean, sure. I mean, they can get you a copy. It's just a piece of paper which says 24. It's the same statement of work with 24 hours.
Okay.
The statement of work is separate from this contract.
The statement of work was not clear. That's one reason why I kept voting no on her, because we don't know if she's supposed to be paid 17 hours or 17.5 hours. We're talking about budget. We need to know how much is in that budget that we have to pay for. So for some reason, she was paid 17.45 hours. But then again, she should have been paid for only 17 hours. Where did that come from?
That's separate from the motion in front of us right now.
Okay.
No, we're doing discussion. All this stuff has everything to do with discussion on this board.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me. This is Friday. You've had Wednesday and Thursday to discuss this back and forth. We have a motion on the floor, not a discussion.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Mayor, you cannot interrupt me. I have had the floor. I did not give it up. And where's the attorney? And where's the attorney? You cannot. I can talk loud just like you can. Where's the attorney? And how are you?
What's the attorney have to do with it?
Because I don't understand what you, how you guys came up with some of these answers. You guys are paying.
You can vote your way.
You guys are trying to get us to put something in the budget that's not there.
We're
talking about finance. We're talking about finance. We're talking about finance.
This has nothing to do with it.
We're talking about finance. I don't know why.
We're going to move forward. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I haven't given up the floor,
Please,
Mr.
it's not a
Mayor.
matter of giving up the floor. You had your say-so. You're not going to sit here and talk for the next hour because you want to. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Madam Clerk,
Please
remind
call.
the mayor that he's opening his violation.
Please call the roll.
My statement. No.
Trustee Carter? Yes. Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Yes. Trustee Todd?
No.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion carried. I'll accept the motion to approve the. If we're gonna have problems in the audience, then we'll ask you to leave. This is a meeting. This is not just a town hall. This is a meeting. We're conducting business. Okay, fine. We will still conduct business. If you still want to continue to talk, I'll ask you to leave. Motion to approve the employment contract between the Village of Sauk Village and Joseph Wizawati for the position of Director of Community. I'm not gonna stoop to your level.
What do you expect?
I'm not gonna stoop to your level. Even though you can call me whatever you want, and if it feels better. And Mr. Barnicki, you of all people shouldn't even have anything to say, sir. For what you shouldn't have anything to say.
Could you address me, Mr. Mayor? I have the floor. Thank you.
For the positions of director. No, you don't have the floor, sir.
You did
not have the floor.
Point of order.
There's no point of order.
Point of order.
Nothing. Have a seat.
Point of order.
Have a seat.
You know Robert's Rules of
I'm
Order.
asking
You address
to have a seat.
You
I was
address
not asking
I
you
have the floor.
I'm asking you to have a seat.
You can ask me, but you gave
Would
me
you
the
please
seat.
sit
You gave
down,
me the
sir?
floor.
Would you please sit down?
I will not. You gave me the
Okay.
floor. I have a point of order.
I'm asking you a second
Did
time.
you ask your trustees where they stand on this? A point of order.
You don't have the right to point of order, sir. You can have a seat.
I
though.
do too. You addressed me.
When we get to public comment, you can say what you want.
No, they can
Until that
address me.
time, you don't have a
That
right.
gave me the
No,
floor.
it doesn't. You've been addressing me for the whole time you've been standing back there.
That's
You've been
right,
yelling.
but I couldn't give me the floor.
Well,
You
then
did.
You don't have the floor, sir. Please
You
have a
gave it
seat.
to me.
Please have a seat.
You want to retract it, please?
I'm not. Would you please have a
Retract your statement, please.
I'm not have a seat, sir.
Retract your statement.
You shut up. That's not the mayor. He doesn't leave. He's being lax. He's being lax.
I had no intention of talking here. None.
Not doing what he said or was going to do.
You called me
Chief.
out.
Yes. Go ahead, Chief.
Listen, there is a way to do business, this is not it. No one understands that disruption of a public meeting is a charge. Any of these people up here can sign the complaint. It's one thing to have to clear the room, it's another thing to have to pay to get out of jail. There is a process. In 2 weeks or whatever, when the next board gets in, then the process will be in place still. Okay? This is the democratic process. So, whether it happens today and then we get another board in and something else happens, you have to allow the process to take place. Anyone that disrupts this meeting again, and one of these people say they're signing complaints, you will go to jail.
Oh, I signed too. You must be everybody saying what? Oh, you gonna sign a complaint on me? You have really got me kid. You have got Officer White, Chief White. This trustee has threatened me, and I would like to sign a complaint.
Yes.
You need to go back on there and sit down there and not take, because you're not gonna bother me. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Well, then shut up then.
See? That's what you got.
Okay, don't say anything.
Are you through, Chief?
Okay, don't say anything.
A motion to approve the employment contract between the Village of Sauk Village and Joseph Wizawati for the position of Director of Community and Economic Development beginning May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2021 for an annual salary of $68,000 along with, $67,999.88 along with all benefits, terms, and conditions contained in an employment contract. I'll ask for a motion.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Carter and second by Trustee Grant. Any questions?
Got a comment? Mr. Mayor, you put in this contract, well, you want us to approve it, but it doesn't specify how many hours it's for. Do you have any idea how many hours this is for?
is to do his job he's been doing, ma'am. Doesn't have hours. Everyone is full-time. If he's a full-time person, then his hours are full-time.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, the second question I'm going to ask you is that this $67,999.88, is this an increase from what he's been getting?
No.
Is this something new?
No.
So does this include the hourly salary, and fringe benefits?
He doesn't get hourly salary.
He just gets this flat amount.
He gets a salary of that for the year.
And this includes fringe benefits?
It includes his health and the other benefits, yes. His regular benefits, yes. Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Carter? Yes. Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
No.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Zupan.
Yes. Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion to approve the employment contract between the Village of Sauk Village and Cynthia Hardy for the position of Assistant Finance Director beginning May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2021 for an annual salary of $57,553 along with all benefits, terms, and conditions contained in the employment contract. I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions?
Comment. Mr. Mayor, this particular motion is for Assistant Finance Director. Can you tell me when did we draft a resolution or something for this particular position? Where did this position come from?
She'll be taking care of water billing.
I know what I asked you, when did we draft this position for Assistant Finance Director?
You mean there is no ordinance?
I said resolution.
There's no resolution.
Well, when did we draft that position to be posted?
We
Was
filled
it
that
posted or
position.
anything?
That position was posted.
Assistant Finance. Okay. Now you're asking for $57,553 for this position. It's in the budget for the upcoming year since it starts May 1st, 2019.
The person that had that position was making much more than that, so it's a reduction. And yes, it'll be in the budget after the budget is ratified, whenever that will be, at the end of May or whatever. We're getting ready to go to budget negotiations pretty soon.
So did you give us a copy of the position description for the Assistant Finance Director?
It's the same position that we had before.
We get a copy of the Assistant Finance Director's position.
No, there's no, as I stated, there's no resolution.
So we didn't get anything for it? Okay.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd? No. Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Motion to approve the employment contract between the Village of Sauk Village and Shanice Nevels for the position of AP Payroll Administrator beginning May 1st, 2019 through April 30th, 2021 for the annual salary of $45,003.40 along with benefits, terms, and conditions contained in the employment contract. I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions?
I have a comment. Mr. Mayor, again, do we have a copy of the AP Payroll Administrator position? Do we have a copy of that?
No more than what's in the code, no.
So we're paying a person to do this job that's in the code. Only was
We're paying a person to do the job that was being, yes.
Okay, so again, this question, $45,003.40 is going to be for this salary. When did you come up with the pay scale for this particular job?
This entry level, and it was brought to the board at the time this person was brought in.
When did we bring this to the board? We talked about this? Is
Yes.
what you just said?
Yes.
When did we do that?
When I posted the position after the position was vacated.
Was it discussed among the trustees?
If it was
that-
brought to the board, it had to be discussed.
When did that happen?
I don't know the date.
Okay, so you telling me that this was brought before the board and I'm the only one that don't know about it?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. So this was this put in the budget for May 1st? This was actually put in budget and negotiated by the trustees?
The budget is not over until after the other one.
I'm saying this is effective May 1st.
It said effective May 1st.
So this is going to be put in the budget without discussion from the trustees?
It will be put in the budget. I mean, the trustees will
Did the trustees?
The trustees will talk about the new budget.
Wait a minute. You're going to give somebody salary before the budget is made, and we haven't talked about it. Okay.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
No.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Public comments. When you come up to the comments, please state your name. It's on the agenda items only. I'm sorry. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each comment may comment on matters on the agenda only. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate. Counter replies or rebuttals. The mayor I will listen to all comments and answer at the end.
Yes. Kathy Betcher, this was supposed to be read before, as with every other meeting. Comments are usually beforehand. So, Mr. Mayor and trustees, we the residents would like to be heard. I know that you know what the saying, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. You are not the Lord, but stop being vengeful. Mr. Mayor, you're punishing the residents of this village for not bending to your will. You know there are loopholes in every contract. I hope you all know that whoever votes for these contracts is not only committing political suicide, you are opening yourselves up for personal litigation also. Trustees, you may not want to consider, you may want to consider consulting an attorney, because what you've just done is illegal. Lastly, trustees, why are there only 4 contracts and not contracts for Mr. Finch, Sue in Code Enforcement, Kevin Weller, and all the other public works employees? Because he just wants to slap the residents in the face, and he wants to protect his friends. Oh, I'm sorry. That's all I have.
Pat Couch. I made up my mind I wasn't going to speak because this is absurd what has happened here today. However, I want you people that are voting on these contracts to realize you're putting someone in place that is a friend, personal friend of this mayor, that the job he is holding, economic director, requires college education and a high school education. The FOIAs that were presented prior to all of this happening clearly stated, I have no high school diploma. I have no high school or college education. This job for almost $70,000 was given to this man for no education. And you're going to give him a contract to protect him for whatever reason? Shame on you.
Debbie Williams. Fact, 3 positions eliminated during this administration and severance packages. Former finance director, employed from 12/31/2010 to August 20th, 2018. Terminated without notice, falsely accused of theft, no charges filed, no severance pay, no benefits. Director of Community Development, Building and Code Department, employed 20 years, department consolidated, position eliminated, 4-month severance pay with benefits. Former police chief, employed August 2015 through November 2018, terminated without notice. Mayor wanted to go in a different direction. 4 months severance pay with no benefits. If our board members approve these 4 contracts, which they just did, and severance packages in the event that they are terminated or their positions are eliminated after they have been employed less than 2 years, does it make you wonder whose best interest they have at heart? Is their loyalty with the mayor or with the residents? I just stated 3 employees that gave their time and effort to Sauk Village and the 4 months severance package that they received. And yet and still, employees that have been here as little as 1 year or as little as 2 years have just gotten an ironclad 2-year severance package. Now I do appreciate Trustee Zupan bringing out a little bit more information than the residents already knew, because to fire these employees or terminate these positions, if I'm understanding correctly, and I would like clarification tonight on record, if there is reason to terminate these employees or reason to eliminate these positions, as has happened with these 3 employees I just spoke about, I want it on record that that is what is going to take place, because this village cannot afford 2-year lucrative severance packages. And I also agree, what happened to the employees that we already have in place? Why just these 4 employees? What about Kevin Weller, who's given 20 years? What about our 1 code officer who works her butt off every day on the street? How come she doesn't have a contract here tonight, Mr. Mayor? And what happened with the dead trees and the infrastructure that we need to have repaired? Where's the plan for all of that? Why don't we have things being presented to us today to make sure that we have that in place before this next administration takes over? Because it's funny to the residents why only these 4 employees are making your special meeting tonight when we have so many issues in Sauk Village that do not pertain to these 4 employees. So those are my questions, and I hope, Mr. Mayor, when you come to the answer section of your meeting tonight, that you really let us know exactly what do you mean with this 2-year severance pay. And again, I want to say thank you, Zupan, for letting us know exactly what's in those contracts, because I understand even some of the trustees didn't know. Thank you.
I want to say this.
Please state your name.
My name is Frank Harvey. There's a way to do anything. I remember this one.
Speak in the mic.
This mayor that's here today, I remember him doing some things, and I didn't see no whole lot of first raise. The mayor have a right to fire anybody that he don't think is doing their job the way he want them to do it. He's the man. He's been elected to man. So I mean, all this other stuff about these other contracts and all that, there's no need to bring them up. This is about what's happening now.
Judy Cast here. First and foremost, I want to say that whenever I went to the front office to pay my water bill or had any concerns or anything prior to you getting in office, I never met anybody that was so friendly, so respectful, and was welcomed in that front office. And you want to say he retired, but the word on the street is he got forced out. And I want to say thank you to Mike Barnicki.
He's gone.
And as far as the trustees go, and you wonder why you're called bobbleheads, Grant, you brought it up yourself and talked about something that happened in executive session, but never came out here. As a trustee, you're well aware that any of the decisions made back there that require a vote must be done in public. It was not. $17 an hour were promised to us by that man. Not 24, not 17.5, $17. And now we're jumping the gun, and it's okay. The contracts, I hope like hell there are loopholes. I really do. And I'm praying, I am praying, all three of our candidates get in, not two. Because we can't handle any more people with extraordinary educations in finance that ignore the people. Ignore what's going on. Ignore what Mr. Finch says. I believe Mr. Finch. He wouldn't sit there and talk the way he did if he was lying. And I don't believe he's a liar. And by saying he's wrong, you're calling him a liar. Excuse me? I feel you've made a wrong move tonight. I feel that this was all planned out because of the way the election ended. I feel you're protecting people. You cannot be a friend and run this town at the same time. And you may be able to fire whoever you want to, whenever you want to, if they're doing wrong. But unless you have a good reason for doing that, you'll end up in court. And I see a lot more lawsuits coming out. And the HR lady was supposed to save us from lawsuits. What about all those lawsuits or pending lawsuits for the police department? What about all the lawsuits that you mentioned just Tuesday night? We got lawsuits galore. She hasn't saved us anything. She's milking the hell out of us.
John Hinkle, on your annual salary, how many hours does that include weekly? 5 hours? 10 hours? You know, you don't have no hours. Annual salaries can be anything. I mean, if we're gonna pay the guy that kind of money, he should be working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But your annual salary could be 5 hours a week. It's, you guys, it's what's on here don't mean nothing to us out here. But I thought we had grown in Sauk Village with the way things were done. But I remember when I first started coming to meetings, there was a gentleman here at that time. I think he must have been trained under him, Lewis Howers. I mean, I think he ended up quitting because he was in deep trouble. That's all I got to say.
Richardson. And I need to say something to everybody in this room. Everybody. A lot of you all voted Derek in. Please know that. Put it all together, you put him there, okay? There wasn't nothing wrong with voting him in, but nobody knew that this was going to turn out the way that it has. Second of all, we have 4 people sitting on the board, Mr. Carter and the other 3. Sit there every single week and say yes to everything that's going on. I have not seen, not one time, that you all say no to something. I sat here the other day and listened to Mr. Finch, and I have to give that man my respect. And the reason why is because he's very truthful, very honest, and don't care who it hurts. And that's the way that it should be. Derek, I thought, was going to show us something different in the way that he went about things. He's passing a contract, or contracts, of people that he should have done it when he first came. He didn't. But because you lose an election, I don't care who's in, because I told you in the beginning, political things don't mean too much to me, not here in Sauk Village anyway. But the point of the matter is, you should have done it when they came in the door. But you did not do that. You have shifted Miss whatever her name is, Miss Pretty Lady, however you want to see it. How around you did it, you've done it. Joe is not educated to have any job or work out there with Kevin in the field. That's what you should have did at first, but you didn't do that either. And now here we have a big mess. And I'm looking at, I can look around and look at everybody. Because I didn't vote for you, Derek. No, I did not. Because I had a feeling that this was going to happen. I thought you was going to do something better, but you have not. But you can take a second look at yourself in the mirror and say, is there something I can do better? You could have came to the people and asked them, first of all, what did you think that they should do or what they could say to you to help you? But you didn't do that either. My husband looked at the report, the first report that y'all put out, and the first thing he told me, all of this is wrong. The money's not adding up. So keep doing what you're doing. But all I ask is that when y'all change seats, change this.
James Shack. First of all, thank you to the James Shack. First of all, thank you to the couple trustees who have free-thinking minds, and for the rest of the community who's come out today. That's really awesome to see everybody here. A couple things. I was looking over the paperwork, and it looks like, what we were voting on. First of all, it does seem a little bit strange that this portion of the meeting, you guys listening to our opinions, came after you voted. It just seems like completely backwards to me, but that's just me. Anyway, if we had our chance to give our opinions and whatever, I think it would have been really cool to have a little bit of clarification, because I've been in the working force for, I've been a consultant, I've been a full-time employee in lots of different situations, right? I think a lot of people here probably have. And I'm all for job security. Nobody likes the idea of somebody, being able to be let go and, having bills to pay, and that would really be horrible, right? And that's bad. But in my understanding, consultant positions specifically, usually, I've been a consultant, and it's part of consultancy is the risk that you incur is that you usually don't have this type of safety net. I understand the full-time positions, that those aren't what I'm talking about. But why are we giving this huge, I've never even seen a 2-year severance package. I was thrilled this one time I got 2 months. I got 2 months severance package once, and I was just it was amazing, 2 years, first of all, it's just unbelievable. Second of all, why are we giving this to a consultant who, by the nature of that type of a position, incurs their own risk and is supposed to be able to handle, account for this type of situation in their own life? That's why they're a consultant. They don't, have the normal protections of full-time employment. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, it really would have been awesome if you would have let anybody in this community speak and give their opinions about this before you guys all went ahead and voted, even though we all know only 2 people on the board would have voted any differently than the mayor wanted to anyway. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Marna Pearson. The only thing I got to say is there's no diversity in this town whatsoever. Nobody has no respect for nobody. That needs to change. There's things that still need to be fixed in this village, like the roads. Oh, only half the village got fixed, not the other half? Okay, who's gonna pay for the damage to my vehicle for running up and down my street because it's all tore up? The water. I could show you pictures of what the water has done to my house. It needs to be fixed. That's all I'm saying. You don't think about the people. You need to think about the people, not your employees.
Put my 2 cents in.
Mary Escobedo. So I agree with Renee. She said, we put you in. She's right. I voted for you because I thought you were better and an honest man than what you're showing us that you really are. You have really brought this town down. And for you 4 trustees, you know you voted wrong. Yeah, Beth, I'm looking at you. You voted wrong. And you know it. You know Joe Wizawadi has no diploma and has no business being in there. He lied with his stuff, unless you all knew and well, I know Derek probably knew and still put him in because his wife said you need to make a job for him. So yeah, so he gets in there and he's not doing anything. And then you go and hire a secretary for somebody who's not doing anything. Again, 1 secretary in the whole office should be enough for the employees that you have here. You have too many secretaries for not enough employees. Obviously, I'm sure that you've all been in the corporate world that you should know it doesn't take so many assistants to try to do what they're doing, which is nothing. Come on. So Derek, you need to start doing what you said you were going to do. You said you were going to look out for the residents of Sauk Village, and you're not doing that. And you can, yes, you're supposed to hire and fire who you seem to think that they're not qualified for the job. Therefore, Joe Wizawadi is not qualified for his job and should not be there. Just like Mary Clark is not qualified for hers. Joe Wizawadi said she was stupid because she didn't even know Excel. So all those employees that you keep saying that you're giving all this money to for no reason is uncalled for. We need more police officers. Instead of you wasting the money on this type of stuff, you should be wasting it on police officers, which is what we need. And like she said, the roads. There are so many things you could be using that money for that you're not. Again, you're not looking out for the residents. And yes, she said we put you in, but guess what? We can put you out. And I intend to do that.
Guess that's it. No, I'm not stepping down. So that's fine.
It's another situation like with this, for instance, this microphone. We need microphones. Everybody here come here to hear this. And we can't even afford another microphone. We have to pass this back and forth. Yes. You know, it's terrible. The water tower needs paint. Our roads need fixed. Ed Schenkel.
The comments, as I stated before, if you were listening, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm talking and we're not rebuttaling.
The comments and questions and comments were to be for agenda items only, as I stated.
We can't hear back here's what we're talking about.
You can hear me now, can't you?
I'm talking about everybody else. We need more microphones.
Are not part of the agenda. So I guess you feel you want to take the meeting over too, just like most people. Go ahead.
No, I waited my turn.
Go ahead and walk, sir.
I waited my turn and things. I just want to try and help out with people that can use a microphone.
We're talking about agenda items only, sir. So if you feel that you want to do that, then go right ahead, sir.
We're spending money. We need to spend money in other places, like make our town better, the roads and things of this sort. The water tower needs paint. The trash in the streets. We're worried about paying Joe Wizawadi this kind of money. Totally ridiculous. We need more microphones and things so we can come here and hear what's going on, because I'll tell you what, you got to be watched closely.
Okay, I just have one thing to say, since all these were comments of whatever. there was one intelligent one that asked about annual salaries, how many hours. If they're on the annual salary, then their hours are whatever as far as anyone else that's on salary. We have a lot of people here that's on salary that only work 8 hours, but annual salary means if we need to work more than 8 hours a day, that's part of it, or whatever the case may be. And as far as you don't feel a certain way about me, that's your personal opinion. I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I don't know what it is you were looking for. But as far as the contracts, it seemed to me that the reason why all this took place is because you must have had intentions of getting rid of people as soon as a new board came in. So I was making sure that I didn't have to go and retrain people. And is that the same? I'll accept the motion. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Oh, wow.
It was moved by Trustee Carter, second by Trustee Taylor. All in favor?